Welcome to Unfiltered Chat. This is where we tell personal stories, we explore faith culture, and we bring together communities. My name is Lizzie Musa, and on today's episode of the show, we'll be discussing finding a tribe. I have three amazing guests on the show today. On my immediate left, I have Bowale, who is a leadership coach and also a pastor. I like to call him PB. And also, we have Eniola Tito. Eniola Tito is a YouTuber and a media personality. And also, on the far left, we have Olive Emodi. Olive Emodi is a TV host, a producer, and she's a fantastic MC.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that, Liz.
Yeah.
Well, so on today's episode, like we said, we will be discussing finding a tribe. We'll start immediately to ask, three of you, how do you find friends? What's the thing you look out for when you're looking for friends, especially in the Christian community?
Ladies first.
Exactly. Well, for me, I would say it would be alignment of values, right? Are these people that we can align in terms of where I'm going to and where they're going to? Also people that I can feel safe with. I feel that a friend is like a covering. So I want to be with someone I can feel safe with, safe enough to be my most vulnerable self, good and bad. Someone who I respect enough to be able to call me out when I'm stepping out of order. But I have a community and I have different friends and different relationships with each of them. There are some people, if I'm being honest, there are some people who we don't necessarily agree on everything. We don't see everything, right? We don't see eye to eye on every subject matter. But I know those that I allow into my inner circle, the ones that are my core, my inner circle, we have similar values. So I think value alignment is the most important thing that I look out for in friendship.
How about you, Eniola?
Finding a tribe, it's just as Olive said, it depends on your values and the things you have in common with such people. When it comes to faith, it's tricky because the foundation should be on the journey that you're having, in terms of faith, looking for Jesus and everything. But there's so many things that may add to that relationship or take away from it. So it's tough to balance. Sometimes we have Christian friends or people that are in a tribe from religion. We tend to hold them to a higher standard, which makes it a bit tougher to maintain those friendships sometimes. But to your question, essentially it's aligned values and just finding people that you flow and just gel with in a particular way. And it could be based on different things. Yeah.
How about you, PB?
Okay, I think they've said it all, but basically what's important is chemistry, spiritual chemistry, social chemistry. It's very key when you are finding your tribe, somebody that you can easily connect with. And like she also mentioned, there are different classes of people. There are some people where you are vulnerable with them, and there are some people where, it's just like in a house. There are people that enter your sitting room, there are people that will enter your bedroom, kitchen, and all of that. So depending on that, depending on those classes of relationship, there are people who can come into your house and enter your bedroom straight away. So depending on your level of vulnerability with them and the level of the value that you share, with one another, basically.
I like that the three of you have one thing in common, that's alignment of values. Yeah. And it brings me to my next question. I'm going to ask, are there times where you feel like certain friends didn't meet with your expectations?
Friends that don't meet with your expectations, conventional friends or in your friends from faith and church?
In you finding value, you look at this person and think, okay, this person needs, we have this thing. And then you get into the friendship and you're like, I don't think this is it.
Yes, it happens, for instance, you may meet someone and, for example, I'll use myself, I'm a born-again Christian and I meet someone at a social event. And work-wise, career-wise, it seems like we're gelling, we talk about the same things and everything, but maybe they are not, saved or, they are not in the faith and whatnot. And to the extent where, we're called to be friends with everyone and to, spread the gospel and all that. But, one hand is always washing the other. So if I feel like it's a situation where they'll be influencing me more than I can influence them in the wrong way, I may need to sever the relationship and not be as close with them, until maybe the appointed time, or just not, be that close with them. So it does happen. And sometimes some people are just not your people. It happens. So it does happen, essentially.
I think I'm going to answer this question from a different perspective in terms of meeting needs, because I find that one of the biggest causes of conflict in friendships is unmet expectations. So you have an expectation that you hope that this friendship can meet, and then you get into it and this friendship doesn't meet that expectation. It's why I'm big on tribe and community, because everybody cannot meet your need in the way that you want at every point that you want them to meet that need. So if for some season, maybe for example, in this season of my life, I need a friend who will, pray with me every night. And there's this friend that I have, she's married. She has to spend time with her family. She can't meet me in that way, in this moment. It doesn't make her a bad friend. I just have to then readjust my expectations, look within my tribe and find someone else who can meet that need. So for me, yes, there have been times where I get into friendship and I don't expect that my friends will meet my needs every time in the way that I want them to meet it. I just readjust my expectations and move to some other person in the tribe.
Okay, I think just to answer it, straight away, yes, you have had that situation where you just believe this person, there's certain vibes you're feeling with this person.
And you expect this.
And you expect, okay, we met in church, and that's that. But by the time they start, making some statements, you already know that. Do I really want to go further with this kind of friendship? So I've been one of similar situation before, and of course, you just use tact to just withdraw yourself, knowing that this relationship it won't last. So let me just use tact to withdraw myself away. So it's happened on few occasions, and I think what is also important is not only getting from the person, what value are you also adding
to the person?
Yes, to the person. What value are you also adding? So if it's a case sometimes, you guys have warned me not to be spiritual, but
Please don't.
So I'm not going to go there, but there's sometimes you feel compelled that this person needs you at this point in time. You just want to add to that person, even though you maybe at that time the value you're sharing is not, but you just want to help the person so that they can come to your world, and of course possibly they can be better more than you met them. So that's another perspective to look at that.
Now, so speaking of expectations, do you have friendship deal breakers? Things that it's a no for you. It ends here.
I think
I wanted to actually put Olive on this that one.
Okay, let me go. Of course, there are deal breakers. Somebody that is not sincere, someone that is not, being honest, being open. They call it HOT, HOT, honest, open, and transparent. That is the barest minimum you require in any form of friendship. So if the person is not honest, if the person is not open, and if the person is not transparent, of course, you will just keep it at the surface level, and then you move on.
So friendship deal breakers, they exist, and sadly they do. But people. That's the funny thing about friendship. Lots of people, you hear online, that I need a friend. I'm looking for a friend. I feel so lonely and everything. But many times, people who say these things, they forget that it's a two-way street, and reciprocity is needed. So they want somebody who's going to feed into them and everything, forgetting that there will come a time when they also need to, share and be open or meet the other person at their own point of need. So, yes, so when someone, is not returning or not willing to contribute their own quota to the friendship, so to speak, that is one of the deal breakers for me. And then, people that use and exploit too. Yeah. I was going to say in this part of the world, but it's a global thing where people just want to take, even in the space of friendship. Once many people perceive that, myself included, that's kind of like a deal breaker. If you can't address it and say, look, I've noticed that this, that, and the other, if it doesn't work after that, then, I guess both parties should go their separate ways. Yeah.
For me, I don't have a lot of friendship deal breakers. I have a lot of friends. Right, I just have classes of friendship. So at different points in our lives, you can move to another level of friendship. We can be very intimate now, and at some point I find that this is not really working. We're not on the same page. And gradually, our friendship will shift from the maybe talking every day or every other day to talking every...
So I don't know if I can interrupt you. That statement you made, so how do you then deal, apologies,
yes.
When the other person doesn't understand that, okay, this our friendship is a season, and now the season is over, and the person still feels, oh, now maybe you are now proud or something.
Well, of course, I experience that all the time when there are certain expectations. Now, there are some friendships that we have gone through the birthing stage, the foundation stage, where we've been able to set the ground. And if we're not then able to talk every day, our friendship has already grown wings and it can fly and sustain itself. Yeah. There are some that I deliberately had to learn to say, you know what, this person, I don't think this person, gets the message. Initially, they would resist, but I'll stand my ground. It comes with, sort of trying to draw boundaries to protect yourself and, to protect yourself and to keep certain people outside. So I don't want you inside my core again. We're not on the same level. Yeah. We're not on the same page. We're not flowing on the same level. I will start to take a step back or two. Now, I may have a conversation with the person to let the person know that, look, if this is, I'm usually the conversation person. Oh, let's talk about it. I don't want you to imagine things. Oh, I love you. I still love you. We're still friends. But I mean, it's not the same way that it was before. Now, this is not to say that I haven't cut people out of my life. And the one person I can remember cutting out of my life very clearly was somebody who hurt me so badly and stabbed me in the back. And the person literally tarnished my reputation or tried. Someone who was a friend. The person's no longer a friend. Yeah. The person tried to tarnish my reputation in ways that I couldn't fathom. And it was just a thing of jealousy. You're no more my friend. You're now friends with other people. Yeah. So right now I'm going to... It was very messy and dramatic. And she didn't know that I got to find out everything that she had said. But I could feel the hostility. It was so glaring. I just knew that, you know what? Yoruba people say that 20 fowls cannot play together for 20 years. My friendship with this person has come to an end because it was hurting me. So I had to build that boundary to keep her outside. Are we friends today? No. Do I wish her the best? Yes. If I see her outside, I will hug her, would have how are you doing? How's your family? How's everything? Bye-bye, bye-bye. But I don't have to have her. So I'm okay with the fact that I don't have to be friends with the same people for the rest of my life. It would hurt. I'm hoping we can have a conversation about friendship heartbreak because I think that friendship heartbreak is worse.
That's literally where I was coming to.
Worse than relationship.
That's where I was coming to.
It's really worse. We don't talk about it a lot, but it's bad because with relationship, somewhere in your heart, you are hoping it works out, but if it doesn't work out, you just count it as breakfast.
Another person.
But friendship, you've built a routine with this person. Sometimes this person knows things about you that a partner doesn't even know. They've seen you in your most vulnerable, and you're just imagining to yourself, where do I want to start again? But, I mean, it is what it is. So, yeah, sometimes there are people who just assume that they don't get the message, but I hold firm to my position, and in time they'll get the message. If I feel that what we had was worth salvaging, I could have a conversation with them to say, this is where we are, this is how I feel. Is there anything that we can do about this? And then if it doesn't work out after that, everybody to your own sense.
You know what, let's actually talk about friendship heartbreak. How does that feel like, and how were you able to navigate out of the entire...
I don't know if they have had. Have you had friendship heartbreak?
Has anyone of you experienced it?
Yeah, of course. I mean, you would. I mean, like she said, one thing I learned from her is having a conversation, with people. With my work as a pastor, I find out that, you have to look after the congregation. And a lot of congregation people forget that we also have friends and our private and personal lives that suffers because of the church work. So mine has been a case of, you're not a pastor, you're not a big boy, your face is on the screen, and all of that. You're everywhere. I'm serious, Wow. I'm just trying to explain, I would try to, I don't know, maybe I also have my own fault. I wasn't being deliberate. Missed calls, sometimes I forget to call back, WhatsApp messages, because I now in so many WhatsApp groups. I don't see their message. I don't respond after 2-3 days.
We are siblings.
Thank you. Thank God. So, and then, the friendship just broke down and, we had to move on. I pray for the person. And of course, like she said, we just have to move on from those kind of relationships. And that's my own personal experience, that has happened to me.
Have you really attacked this friendship heartbreak thing? I'm talking about what you feel when you feel like you're falling out with a friend, not the things that you've not done to them. When you feel that on your part, this person has literally left you or whatever it is that happened.
Yeah. So I think from this show, I'm just going to do something about it because what has happened, I just left it and I believe that everybody would be all right, and like I learned from what she said, having a conversation, which I think I'm not, when it comes to friendship, people I call my friends, to just have that conversation and say, this is what is going on. This is the season of my life that I am in. I just expect that they will understand, because some of them we've been friends since when we were in school. We've been doing some of this stuff together. It's just that I went to be full-time and they are not full-time. Do you understand? So my expectation is that you should understand, but I mean, from this conversation today, I think that conversation needs to happen, and I mean, I hope it will happen very soon.
I hope so too.
I hope so too.
Friendship heartbreak, it's tough. I've been the one to, cut off.
You're the heartbreaker.
I'm the heartbreaker.
Wow, official.
So, and even though I was the one who cut those relationships, it still hurts till today. In most of the situations, because there are more than one, I felt taken advantage of and underappreciated. And I'm one of those people that I tell you once, I tell you twice, there won't be a third time, I'm out. And it really did hurt. And the year that we're in, I don't say the date, but it's been years. And I still think about it from time to time. Like, Olive said, I'm still cordial with these people, yeah. But it does hurt. It didn't end. And we're talking, in some cases, these are friendships for like 20 years, so quite a while. But I just felt that I tried my best. I tried to voice what was going on and how I felt about certain things. I didn't feel heard, and then I moved. And as it is with human nature, it's when you've, like with our government, a few weeks ago, they switched off all the lights in the country. But later on that night, the lights came back on. It's not until you are pushed to the wall and you act that people now come and be saying, oh, don't be upset. Yes. So, anyway, but me, once I move. So it hurts.
You're harsh.
Okay.
But keeping it real.
Can I say something?
Yes,
I think that at the core of human existence, what we all want in some way, whether we admit it or not, is validation.
Yeah.
We want to feel wanted. We want to feel needed. We want to feel loved by the people that we love. You want to feel like, I love this person. I want them to reciprocate my love. And whether you like it or not, it starts from childhood when you're doing something really silly. You're like, oh, mommy, look, I did this. Daddy, look, I did that. You want your parents to say, well done, good boy, good girl. And it grows with us, that need to feel wanted and to feel affirmed, right? On the one hand, I'm learning on my own end to be kinder to people and understand. My mentor calls it understanding the iniquity of human existence and the fact that people are not perfect.
Understanding the iniquity of human existence.
That people are flawed and just like me, they want to feel loved. Just like me, they want to feel affirmed. So as much as I can, I try to do that. Over the years, I've lost a couple of friendships in some way, like some people who assumed they were maybe very much close to me, and in my head we're just regular close, we're not that deep. But then because I'm now on TV, I've gotten messages that say, oh, because you're now on TV, you've abandoned the rest of us, and sometimes it would annoy me. But then I tell myself, okay, relax and have a conversation with this person. And I say to them, look, this is what's going on. I'm not great with WhatsApp. Put a call through. I'll take it. I'll call you too, because it takes two. They don't push the burden on you like it's your responsibility. So on the one hand, I understand from their perspective, but I also understand from my own perspective, and I'm learning to be kinder to myself and to say it's okay. You can't reach out to everybody. You can't pour out from an empty cup. So it's okay if you can't meet everybody's emotional needs. When you have, as much as I can, when I have opportunities to be with them, I'll let them know how much I love them and affirm them as much as I can. But when the things don't work out as planned, I will then try a conversation and say, this is where we are. This is how I feel. What can we do about this? And if it doesn't work, I move on. But the one thing I do to move on, if especially it's the other person who broke my heart and they didn't, live up to my expectations, I pray for them. Because I find that if you don't, that's the easiest way to forgive anybody. You can't pray for someone that you hate. So the more you pray for them, the easier it gets. I remember the first time I was trying to pray for someone who had really hurt me. And the first time I started to pray, I was praying for her, I was praying for her family, and I just started crying. Because I'm like, how can I be praying for this girl that hurts me this much? But I realized that as I continued, it started to get easier over time. Because when you don't do that, you're nursing resentment. And how can you go to God for forgiveness when you haven't forgiven your neighbor? So,
I think I've learned a lot, and hopefully I know that people that are watching would have learned a lot as well. I just want to ask you, three of you, this question just before we wrap up. Olive, I know you, I call you the friendship ambassador. I was going to ask you, How do you draw boundaries? You know, when you have so many friends and you want to, you were saying something just now about how probably you can't return calls, you can't do certain things at the time, and you feel that these people just feel like they want so much from you. How do you draw boundaries? How do you make them know that, oh, I can't do this at this time? I can't be here. How do you say no basically in
Just say
friendships?
no. You just say no.
It's not that easy.
It's not that easy. I've learned and I'm still learning. Okay, I'd recommend a book, Boundaries, How to Say No by Henry Cloud. So
Love
I
it.
think it's a great book that everyone should read. Henry Cloud is like a coach of boundaries, talks about boundaries in relationships, boundaries in everything really, exactly. And boundaries are a very important part of our existence. One thing I found out was that I had porous boundaries. So sometimes in a bid to try and overcompensate, if you're somebody who feels like you have to be there for everybody, you want to pour out
Stretch yourself
you
thin.
stretch yourself so thin and then you're burnt out and you have nothing to give. I had to start learning that no is a complete sentence. I'm still learning that. Sometimes I feel the need to over-explain. And when maybe I've called a friend or I couldn't be there for them, I'll be overthinking it. Oh, are they mad? Are they upset with me?
Yeah.
Or how can I meet up? I've had to start learning that it's okay to say no. Oh, I'm sorry, I can't do this at this time. Can I maybe do that much later? I'm not always very firm with it, I'm going to admit. One thing that's helping me and has helped me is therapy. I know that there are lots of people that are not open to the idea of therapy and they think until you've had a mental breakdown before you go and seek therapy. I don't agree. I believe that we should encourage therapy. You can have a Christian therapist, someone who's a Christian, understands the laws of Christianity or the principles of Christianity, and then is a trained therapist. They would help you in being able to set boundaries. But boundaries are like a muscle. The more you flex them, the stronger they grow. So just, if it's not convenient, it's not convenient. Just say no. Don't overthink it. Say, oh, I'm sorry, I can't make it at this moment. Maybe some other time, but now I can't do that. And if the person takes offense, then that's someone you actually need to put a boundary with. Your friend will understand when you can't meet their need. You can't always meet their need. You're not Father Christmas
I love
or
that.
Santa Claus.
I love that. Eniola, do you have anything to say?
I mean, Oliver said it all.
Add to it.
I mean, it's boundaries and knowing your limits and knowing where to draw the line. I to be honest, can be a bit harsh, with things that affect my mental space and all that and whatnot, and maybe to a fault, some might say. But I think it's very important that we know how we want to be treated and how we don't want to be treated. Once you can at least identify that, then you know what to let people get away with and what they can't get away with. So that's how I really live my life.
That.
Yeah, it's not the best though.
What they can get away with
and
and
what they can't get away with. Yeah, because people they misbehave.
Exactly. Yeah, I think you said it all. Boundary is like a security for both of us, even not for only me, even for you also, to understand that, there are certain limitations. Just imagine you are going on a bridge. I don't know, any bridge in the world, there's always guardrail.
Right.
You understand? And it's to prevent crash, basically. And that's what boundary would do for you, because if you don't have boundary, that relationship would crash one day, because the person will be giving and giving and giving, and then to get to a point where you can't give anymore. And when you get to that point, then the preservation that should have happened through boundaries, everything is lost. So it is important that we are able to draw, certain boundaries. And I mean, is what she said is what happens to me too. You want to be there for everybody, and even for our own kind of work, everybody, come by, I'm having birthday party, I'm having wedding, it's you that want you to come. And we actually have a system of people that should be there, and then people that also feel that they are close to you and they feel that you should be there, and all of those things. So I mean, how many places do you want to be, at a particular so boundary is very important. Of course, you communicate it with love, that is very
people
important.
will adjust
Exactly.
They may resist it at first, but along the line they will adjust. And also, you who is a person that wants to establish boundaries must be a person that respects other people's boundaries. Because you can't be establishing boundaries with them, but when it comes to your own turn, when they tell you, I'm sorry, I can't do this, you're picking offense.
And then I think that boundaries brings respect, and respect essentially is a bedrock for friendship.
True.
On this note, let's give our final words, final quote. Do you have any final quote on friendship that you want people to know, or something you live by?
Reciprocity, don't seek to just take from other people. Be prepared if you are going into a friendship to give as well. And understand there are different levels of friendship. There are acquaintances, there are casual friends, there are close friends, and there are intimate friends. 4 types of friendships. So understand that friendships are in levels. Don't meet somebody today and expect that, I can come to your house tomorrow, or I can get
And
to
walk
know your
into your bedroom.
Well, exactly. These things take time. So be a good friend.
Okay. Just my own principle: do unto others what you want to be done to you. Basically, it's the basis of any form of friendship. Do unto others what you want them to do to you, and that's my own final.
I think my final thoughts would be to remind all of us that friendship is like a seed that requires, it needs to be watered for it to grow.
And nurtured.
You don't stumble on friendship. It is intentional. You don't stumble on growth in friendship. It's intentional. You can't say you want your friendship to someone with someone to grow when you're not making time to see them, you're not making time to speak with them. The people you're closest to most of the time are the people you speak to often. So people must be ready to put in the work. Friendship, just like marriage, requires work. If you're not ready to do the work, you're probably not ready for friendship. But I think the final thing, one more thing I'd like to add is you can actually pray for the kind of friends that you want, right? I prayed at different points in my life. I have prayed for friends and God gave me those friends. But more than praying for the friends you want, pray for the kind of friend you want to be.
Thank you so much for being on today's episode. This episode was truly refreshing, And I would like to say that at the end of the day, you have to give what you want to receive. If you want love, you give love. If you want hate, then give hate. But then just give what you want to receive. And this brings us to an end of today's episode. Thank you for watching Unfiltered Chat. My name is Lizzie Musa.